Happy Labor Day, Internet. This is BlueLou Adventure 4, Lost in the Fog. You can't tell, but right now I'm actually only about 500 yards offshore, although at the time it felt more like 5,000. It's tough to be out in the fog alone. At any point you could have, a race boat or something fast go right by you and probably knock you right out of the kayak if you wanted to, or run you right down because you're a small object in the fog and you're kind of hard to see. But as you can see here, it's only a couple minutes after switching on the camera, getting set up, that I had my first hit of the day, and it was pretty good fight here. This fish kept taking some line and was staying on the bottom. I wasn't sure what I'd hooked into yet. I was hoping it was a nice fair-sized brown trout. As the fight dragged on, it felt kind of strange that this fish stayed on the bottom so much and kind of ran in little short spurts. As I'm working the rod and also trying to position the boat a little bit here, keep myself in line, I was a little worried this fish would go under the boat and then, well, I'd have other troubles to deal with. This fish came up all right though, and as you can see here, as it gets close to the surface, it's a pretty big fish. During the time I was shooting this, I was seeing a bunch of other fish jump. I was actually hoping one of them showed up on camera out there, because I swear it had to be about, 3.5 feet long from head to tail from what I could see, and that was at a distance. I mean, that thing looked monstrous. But this fish right now looked pretty monstrous. Another freshwater drum. I seem to have a knack for catching those off the lighthouse. I don't know if I'm just trolling too slow or I'm just trolling in just the right area. This fish was all played out since he's nice on his side. He still had some fight in him as he rolled on the surface a little bit there. He was a little leery when I started approaching with my grippers there. Kept shaking his head every time I tried to get close. Did get that taken care of in pretty short order here and get him hauled up so you can take a look at him once he settles down a bit. Here we go. This looks like the ticket. Not quite yet. I guess I have to wait for him to settle down just a little bit more, get used to the idea of being handled. Should be just a few seconds here. There we go. Got my grippers in him, lift him right up. You see there, that spoon's been hitting pretty good for me this year, although it's been hitting just as many drum as it has salmon or trout. Get my little hemostats out, take the hook out pretty quick, nothing to it. This fish was cleanly hooked, easy to dehook. Just worried about losing my grippers there, so I strapped it up, and there you go. Nice freshwater drum. Probably the biggest one I've caught this year. So I'll just get him back in the water here, and he looks like he's still got plenty of fight in him. I take the grippers off, give him a push towards the bottom, and watch him go. He was out of sight in about 10-15 feet. Now a little later that afternoon, the fog had burned off, and you can see the shore there. I had just happened to be out. I felt this tug here, and I didn't quite notice it until the fish had actually come off the hook. This case, I'm not sure if I actually had a fish or I just managed to scrape on the bottom a little bit. Pretty sure it was a bite, because as I pulled this up to check the hook came up pretty clean here, as you'll see in a second. And generally that means something was at the other end, and it wasn't a weed. That's all I've got today. Have a good day. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in hearing more about how I'm fishing or where I'm fishing, or if you'd just like to keep going with this video style. Thank you.